It is better to be alone than in bad company. Happiness and moral duty are inseparably connected. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. Do what you can, with what you have, where you are. To be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. There is nothing so likely to produce peace as to be well prepared to meet the enemy. In time of peace, prepare for war. Let your heart feel for the afflictions and distress of everyone, and let your hand give in proportion to your purse. It is impossible to govern the world without God. Guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism. Liberty, when it begins to take root, is a plant of rapid growth. If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep to the slaughter. The Constitution is the guide which I never will abandon. A government is like fire, a handy servant, but a dangerous master. The basis of our political system is the right of the people to make and to alter their constitutions of government. I walk on untrodden ground. There is scarcely any part of my conduct which may not hereafter be drawn into precedent. The preservation of the sacred fire of liberty and the destiny of the Republican model of government are justly considered as deeply, perhaps as finally, staked on the experiment entrusted to the hands of the American people. A sensible and good government will always tend to promote the happiness of the people. There is nothing more important than that the government be firmly established. We should not look back unless it is to derive useful lessons from past errors, and for the purpose of profiting by dear-bought experience. The best way to predict your future is to create it. It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority. Associate with men of good quality if you esteem your own reputation, for it is better to be alone than in bad company. In politics, as in religion, it is equally absurd to aim at making proselytes by fire and sword. A man is not a good citizen simply because he has been born on the soil of a republic. When we assumed the soldier, we did not lay aside the citizen. Labor to keep alive in your breast that little spark of celestial fire, called conscience. To be a good soldier, you must learn to obey orders. The best and only safe road to honor, glory, and true dignity is justice. We are not to be intimidated by the threats of a monarch. It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. Let us raise a standard to which the wise and the honest can repair. The nation which indulges towards another a habitual hatred or a habitual fondness is in some degree a slave. A free people ought not only to be armed but disciplined. The time is near at hand which must determine whether Americans are to be free men or slaves. I have not only veteran soldiers to deal with, but also the masses, the real heart of America. Experience teaches us that it is much easier to prevent an enemy from posting themselves than it is to dislodge them after they have got possession. There can be no greater error than to believe that the people of this country are not united. The administration of justice is the firmest pillar of government. The country is in danger, but I think we can preserve it. A well-established and efficient government will contribute more to human happiness than any system of government yet devised. Truth will ultimately prevail where there is pains to bring it to light. Real men are those who stay strong in their values and beliefs. My first wish is to see this plague of mankind, war, banished from the earth. I shall ask no favors for my country except in the form of liberty. It is the duty of the United States to honor its treaties with its allies. In a government of laws, the people will always be able to defend themselves. It is better to risk saving a guilty man than to condemn an innocent one. The best thing that can be done in times of crisis is to stay calm and rational. Let us not be mistaken. We must support the principles that make us who we are. The American experiment will succeed only if we are steadfast in our principles. The United States cannot expect to succeed without unity and strength. I am not a believer in standing still. I will always press forward. To cultivate the mind and virtue of the citizens is the foundation of a republic. There is no expedient to which man will not resort to avoid the real labor of thinking. Every citizen has the duty to defend liberty. A bad government is a misfortune to any people. It is essential that we have a true respect for the public welfare. The welfare of the nation depends upon the morality of its citizens. If we do not give our best, we cannot expect to achieve the greatness we aspire to. The United States should be a shining example of liberty and democracy for the world to follow. The future of our country is in our hands, and we must act with great responsibility. The most important thing we can do is to stand by the principles of justice and equality. The blessings of liberty should be preserved for all people, not just a select few. Our nation was founded upon the principles of freedom and justice for all. Let us all hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. A wise and prudent government is one that avoids unnecessary entanglements. The best defense against tyranny is to be well prepared. The character of a great nation is forged through the wisdom of its leaders. We must support the cause of liberty, not for the moment, but for future generations. History will judge us by the quality of our actions and decisions. The future of this nation depends on the education and enlightenment of its citizens. We must never forget the sacrifices made by those who came before us. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to face it. We are not free to do as we please. We are free to do what is right. Without virtue, liberty cannot be preserved. We should avoid entangling alliances with foreign powers. Peace and friendship with all nations is our policy. The true mark of a great leader is the ability to unite a people. National unity is the key to national success. It is not the quantity of men that matters, but the quality of their leadership. Strength in unity is essential to our survival. The spirit of liberty and patriotism must be instilled in every generation. There is no greater responsibility than to safeguard the freedom of the people. We must remain vigilant in the face of tyranny. The destiny of this nation will depend on the choices we make today. Our government was built on principles that must be upheld at all costs. The preservation of peace should be the ultimate goal of any nation. Greatness is achieved not by what we possess, but by what we give to others. Liberty is the greatest of all blessings, and we must guard it with vigilance. Nothing will end well unless it is founded on justice. Let us never forget that liberty is the birthright of every citizen. In the end, the success of this nation will depend on the wisdom of its citizens. Every citizen must be ready to serve the country in its time of need. The American experiment was founded on ideals that must never be compromised. We must maintain the integrity of our nation and the principles upon which it was built. To honor the Republic, we must always act with integrity and virtue.